Easter eggs are often fun little secrets that developers put into games as a way to reward a player's curiosity and exploration. But Easter eggs can also be used as a way to send a hidden message directly to the player without it having to go through the eyes of the corporate suits at the publisher's office. Hi everyone, this is Mitch from gameranx, and today we're going over 10 secrets and Easter eggs that developers didn't want to tell anyone about, especially their publishers. Starting off with number 10, back in 1998, EA Sports signed a deal with a young golfer named Tiger Woods, who was not yet embroiled in a series of sex scandals, to feature him as the cover athlete on their line of golf games. And the game was fairly solid. It was a great return to the PGA Tour franchise. Only the first 100,000 copies had to be recalled because of a little secret that was discovered. Some developer thought it would be a great idea to secretly put the pilot episode of South Park, Jesus vs. Santa, onto the PlayStation 1 disc. The episode couldn't be accessed through normal means through the PlayStation. In order to see it, you had to pop the disc into your computer, view the files on the disc, and open the file zzDummy.dat. I don't know, maybe the developer who sneakily put that file on there really did want someone to find it, almost like he or she was pulling a prank on EA. But one thing's for sure, EA would have definitely loved if that Easter egg remained a secret forever. Next up at number 9, this isn't so much of a secret or Easter egg as it is an interesting glitch that Nintendo would have never expected could have ever been found. But let's talk about Missingno from Pokemon Red and Blue. Missingno is a quote-unquote Pokemon that could be found under very specific conditions. First, you have to talk to this old man in Viridian City and have him teach you how to catch Pokemon. Then, you fly to Cinnabar Island and start surfing up and down the eastern coast so that it looks like you're on land when you're actually in the water. Eventually, you should encounter one of the multiple forms of Missingno. The reason why developers didn't expect this to be found is because it was actually a programming quirk caused by the player doing several things that Game Freak would have never expected, such as talking to an NPC that teaches you how to catch Pokemon when you already have the Fly HM, and then trying to surf on the eastern coast of Cinnabar Island where there's not supposed to be any Pokemon. Add all of that together and you have a cool secret glitch Pokemon that actually causes all kinds of weird things to happen with your game. And that's a very brief summarization of the glitch because honestly, we could spend a whole video talking about it. Instead though, let's move on to number 8, the Stanley Parable's Patience Testing Ending. The Stanley Parable is a game all about subverting expectations, but you can actually subvert the developer's expectation by getting an ending that they had to put in there as a sick joke. The ending that I'm talking about refers to a point in the game where you're told to play a little game involving pressing a button for 4 hours in order to save a cardboard baby from being put in the fire. For 4 hours. Let that sink in for a second. In 4 hours, you could watch all of the Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring and still have 12 minutes to spare, drive from Los Angeles to Las Vegas, or wait in line at E3 to play the new Zelda. Seriously, that line was ridiculous. To make matters even worse, at the 2-hour point, the game throws a curveball at you by forcing you to press another button to save a dog from being dumped in a pool of puppy-eating piranhas. Okay, sure, maybe the developers might have suspected that someone would use a macro to do all the moving and button pressing automatically, and that is what people did. But I highly doubt that Galactic Cafe really expected many people to legit be able to find this ending. In at number 7, we have a classic Easter egg from Resident Evil 2 that allows you to find a special photo of Rebecca Chambers in a Raccoon City Police Department jersey. In order to get it though, you had to examine Wesker's desk, which would normally just tell you it's trashed. Someone must have searched the desk. And you had to examine it a staggering 50 times before it finally gives you Film D, which can then be developed in the darkroom to view the picture. This is one of those Easter eggs that make you think, okay, seriously, how could someone possibly have thought to check a seemingly normal object over and over while getting the same message each time, all the way to 50 times? And the honest truth is that they probably didn't. This was a secret that was revealed in a supplementary book called Research on Biohazard 2 Final Edition, and word probably spread from there. Number 6 is an Easter egg for one of the most popular first-person shooter franchises of all time that wasn't discovered until 7 years after the release date of Halo 3. And the reason for that was because it really wasn't meant to be discovered. It was meant to be shown as a message to a single person. If you play Halo 3 on December 25th, get to the loading screen after selecting a level and hold in both sticks, pay careful attention to the halo that forms and you should be able to clearly see, "Happy Birthday, Lauren." Turns out this Easter egg is courtesy of former Bungie developer Adrian Perez, who put in the message as a surprise for his wife Lauren. For number 5, we're going a little bit more obscure with a Japanese Famicom game called Patchy Calm, which really is no more than a video game version of Pachinko, minus the gambling. It's a completely unremarkable game in just about every way, except for the fact that when you examine the ROM through a hex editor, you can find an otherwise inaccessible message left by a hilariously disgruntled anonymous employee. The message is entirely in Japanese and too long to completely go over in this video, but some highlights include saying that his boss does absolutely nothing but give him crap, that the people he works with are all retards, and saying, "Who the hell do you think is going to play this with its boring bonus stage and balls that get stuck?" He also leaves a message in the MSX version of the game, beginning it with saying, "Schlick schlick, spray spray," which, if you can't guess, is the equivalent of fap fap fap. At number 4, it's one of the first Easter eggs in all of gaming, the infamous adventure Easter egg, which ends up on this list because it was specifically hidden so Atari wouldn't know about it. The story goes that Atari had removed the names of the programmers who worked on their games as a measure to prevent the other companies from identifying and luring away their talent. In an effort to keep his name on the game, the developer of Adventure, Warren Robinette, placed a secret room inside the game with a message that read, "Created by Warren Robinette." The room is extremely well hidden, forcing players to use a bridge to reach a secret room with a tiny gray dot that is nearly indistinguishable from the ground. Then they must take that dot into this yellow room with the barrier and drop the dot along with 2 other items to unlock the barrier and reach the Easter egg. Amazingly, 9 months after the game came out, a 15-year-old named Adam Clayton discovered the Easter egg and actually wrote into Atari explaining to them how to find it, thus revealing to the world Robinette's creative act of subversion and thereby popularizing the idea of a video game Easter egg. At number 3 is a Dragon Age Inquisition Easter egg that was only made known because an alleged BioWare developer ended up leaking a part of it to a YouTube channel called Project Falcon Punch. It's another Easter egg along the lines of the Resident Evil 2 one, where you have to find a specific unassuming spot and then do something 50 times without any knowledge of whether what you're doing is actually doing something. Finding this rock formation in the hinterlands and jumping on it 50 times will unlock a secret quest that, upon completion, will reveal a special chest containing a rare crown inside the mines at the, and I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing this wrong, Emprise du Lion area of the map. Liam Robertson of Unseen64 says that the alleged BioWare developer who leaked this Easter egg referred to this secret quest as a fun little thing the developers did to see how long it would take fans to find. For number 2, we're digging into another classic Easter egg, this time from The Legend of Zelda: A Link to the Past. The story behind this one goes that a Nintendo fan named Chris Houlihan won a contest in a 1990 issue of Nintendo Power with the grand prize of getting his name programmed into a future NES game. Turns out they missed that deadline because the game that Houlihan actually appeared in was Link to the Past on the Super Nintendo. There are a number of known ways to reach this room, all of which require very specific and strange instructions, using the Pegasus boots starting from the sanctuary and going as fast as you can all the way to the sewer passageway's entrance. Everything must be done very precisely and very quickly, as one misstep will send you to the room you're supposed to go to instead of the special Houlihan room. The honest truth is, this room is actually a failsafe room that the game's developers put in for cases where a bug causes the game to not know what room to send Link to. All of the methods of taking Link to this room are actually just ways to reproduce the bug. Sorry Chris, your grand prize was a room that the game developers never hoped anyone would ever see. But at least you went down in gaming history as being part of one of the most memorable Easter eggs of all time. And finally, number 1, it couldn't have been anything else other than hot coffee from GTA San Andreas. Hot coffee refers to a sex minigame that was cut in the actual release of the game, but could be enabled through the usage of mods on the PC version. Hot Coffee put Rockstar and Take-Two in a lot of hot water, with mainstream media cracking down on the fact that players could engage in crudely animated virtual sex, regardless of the fact that the minigame was never meant to be accessible through normal means. The result was San Andreas was re-rated by the ESRB as AO in the US and refused classification in Australia, which led to being banned down under. Of course, eventually a version was released that removed the minigame completely, and a patch was introduced that caused the game to crash whenever someone tried to access it, but the controversy was a big deal at the time and caused video games to become under heavy fire, so it's a pretty sure thing that Rockstar would have wanted that part of the game to remain buried under its inaccessible code. And that's our list! Did we miss any? What are some of your favorite deviously hidden Easter eggs? Let us know in the comments, and hey, if you enjoyed this video, why not do us a favor and drop us a like, as it really does help us out a ton. If you're not subscribed already, there's no better time than now because we here at gameranx pump out new videos every single day, 7 days a week. My name's Mitch. You can find me at Jurassic Rabbit on Twitter, and I'll see you next time.